Like, turn it just a little bit over here. It's a nice day, nice day. We both in it. Okay, everything good. All right, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Before I forget, get those things out. Little microphone. Get that out real quick. Slacky, y'all. Hold on. Thought I was ready. Should be charged up, so it should be good. All right, we should be good. Let's put this back on charger. All right. All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
First and foremost, before we begin, want to give our praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem,
Kakwadash, the Master of the Apostles, the Master of the Elders, Great Millstone, Ruel, the Titus is truth. Much respect to you brothers out there, preach his word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Tabernacle David, it's being risen up right before your very eyes. The next ruling class, right? The hopeful elect, the speckled bird, our people scattered abroad, that's listening and learning, taking heed, especially in these last days. To you, I say shalom. A lot of things popping off, a lot of things going on. All right, so making sure that you making your calling and election sure. Make sure you ain't playing no games, Jake. Right, things is going down. Things is going down through the spirit. You know, check yourself. You know, get your mind right through the spirit. Get your body right. You know, Lord willing. Even though the scriptures do say, you know, exercise profited little, but it still profits. You know, put in that aspect. You know, get ready for the times to come because it's gonna be crazy out here, man. But yeah, if you got anything, all right.
Yeah, it made me think of that dude that burned down the toilet paper warehouse.
Man,
You know, hey, he said, man, all you had to do is pay us more.
man,
You
you
know,
see?
hey, he went crazy on that. I did a lesson on that yesterday. You know, of course he got arrested and everything like that. He filmed himself doing it. So, you know,
Self-incriminating.
yeah, he was at the point to where he did not care. You know, and that's the majority of these people that the spirit that they ready be in pretty soon, they're not gonna care, man. You know, so that's why that second Aegis 15
Yeah,
is going to come into play real soon. You know, people can't afford to live, you know, pay for rent, you know, gas, whatever utility bills they got. What do you think they're going to do? You know, they're going to wild out. What's the saying? If somebody, they don't have nothing to lose, they lose it.
yeah. When they ain't got nothing to lose.
He was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, get ready for more of that. I don't think that was a false flag at all. I think he really did that.
Yeah, I
Let's
wouldn't be
see.
surprised. Like you said.
Yeah, we are.
Hey,
Yeah, you can. You're good.
I'll get you out. Oh, you good? Yeah, you good. If you want to get that, 'cause I forgot to put internet on this phone. We'll get that second Ezra's, what was that, 15 actually?
15 and 14.
15 and 14, no
You're welcome.
problem. Have a good one. Yeah, matter of fact, if you want to get that so I'm gonna put internet on the phone real quick. So I saw it the other day. I ain't watch what happened, but I was reading articles on it, and it was like, man, you should have paid enough to, you know, to live, man.
I mean, hey, a lot of people, they just be talking about what they gonna do and saying they mad, but he actually did something. You know, so I said in my lesson, I was like, at least he wasn't no punk. You know, We ain't advocating for Jake to do nothing like that. He can do what you want to do, and we know, 2/3 of our people are gonna do stuff like that regardless, just crash out stuff.
Yeah.
Because they don't trust in YASHAMIAHLA. But these things are gonna happen more and more, man. Let me get that second Edges 15 and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword of destruction draweth nigh,
Yep.
and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and with swords in their hands." Right? And the modern day sword is the gun, man. Right? What's gonna lead to this? The downfall of America, right? The downfall of Babylon the Great. Right? And it's starting with people not being able to afford to live.
Yeah.
People are gonna start looting, and people have been really doing that, but crime is gonna increase. Right? Crash out behavior is gonna increase. Right? We're in these times, we're not in the time of we never been in this time to try to make it in America, right? This is our captivity. I mean, yeah, you have Jace that's, so-called and made it in this kingdom, but this ain't our rest, man.
Yep.
That's why you see all these different things happening. You confused. We're not confused. I'm not surprised that happened because we understand what times we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
Things are gonna get more dire, gonna get worse. I got a little, I don't know if you got one, a little neighborhood app of like people that be posting stuff that be going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be reading the stuff, people be like reporting on there, and I'll be like, hey, the Lord protected me, my household, and this brother as well.
Yeah.
There's stuff that be going on, man. You just be like, damn, like, I didn't even see that,
Yeah. Hey, pray for the brothers. Pray for your household, man. Lift up them prayers. That's most definitely important. That's why we tell you, in the beginning, don't play around with the Lord, man. Make sure you make your call and election sure. Because like the brother said, you go on that neighborhood app, got one person got their car broken into,
man.
their house broken into, somebody stole their packages. And us, Yahweh desire, we stay diligent. The Lord has a hedge of protection over us, man. But if you got anything, go ahead.
I'm
still
gonna
going.
read the next one. Verse 16, it says, "For there should be sedition among men, invading one another, breaking into people's cars, houses, right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that dude that burnt down the toilet paper warehouse, he obviously didn't care about what was gonna happen to him. You think he didn't know he was gonna get arrested? He filmed himself doing it. He obviously didn't care about nobody else's livelihood because other people worked there.
Yeah.
He didn't care because he was at his wits' end, man. And these people are all about to be like that pretty soon. When this economy collapses, when gas get, it's still chill right now. It's still that green tree like it speaks of. If they doing this in the green tree, what should they do with us in the dry tree?
So they do in the dry tree, you see?
So all these people out here, man, that's chilling and vibing and playing tennis and just hanging out, having a good time. Soon they ain't gonna be able to do that.
Yeah. Now, we'll say this is about balance. And ain't nothing wrong with going outside, getting some fresh air, playing ball, But the difference is these people are not mindful of what's to come. These people are scoffing, mocking. Matter of fact, the other day I was driving by and I saw the IUIC out there, right? Now, granted, they don't have the 100% truth. Most definitely, they do not have the 100% truth. But I was overhearing some people's conversation. And it was like, man, they ain't got to come out here like that. I don't like how they're doing it, man. Now, granted, they do have a microphone. The scriptures say just lift up the voice. That's all you got to do. But when you read the scriptures, it says in season, out of season, right? True wisdom comes out on the highways and byways, right? So these people rather hear a man in a pulpit with a bald face and a tie on, right? A little phallic symbol around his neck instead of the men of the Lord. Granted, once again, the IUIC, they going off. They going off. But how much more us out here on the highways and byways when they see us, man? Even on the comment board, you see it all the time, man. They just laughing and scoffing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Saying we got on capes and stuff.
You know what I'm saying? This is a true wisdom, man. We're warning you. Now, getting back to it once again, you know, it's all about balance in life, right? Make your call and election sure, do your lessons, do what you're supposed to do, Jake, and then you can go outside and play. You know what I'm saying? Then you can go out and chill out, man. But make sure you got your lessons up, man.
A lot of you Jakes, Jakes in the world, should I say, they not focused on Yahushua returning. They're not focused on the kingdom of heaven. They're not focused on, righteousness being implemented in the earth soon. They're not worried about the destruction to come, right? They still focused on things of the world, like, oh man, what's my next vacation?
Yeah.
Right? What's my business plan, my 10-year business plan? Nigga, all the things happening, what makes you think that you're gonna have 10 years here? You know? And that's wicked to think that, because that means you comfortable being in a wicked world. We're not comfortable being in the wicked world. That's why we preach about these things, right? To warn you, and we want a righteous world, man. We don't want to keep living here, man. Well, you'll have some Jakes be like that one dude, Officer Tatum, on the video I think you sent me.
Yeah. From the other day.
They be like, "What's wrong with America? This is the greatest country ever." Well, there's a lot of things wrong with it. Just because the only reason we still alive and we still able to get up and walk and breathe and without having no let's say terminal illness or something like that is because of the mercy of the Lord. This man put all types of stuff in the food, the air, in the clothes, So it's the mercy of the Lord that we still, healthy, And when it come down to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving credit to this damn devil, man.
Because matter of fact, you go into other countries and you'll eat the same diet. And I've seen it like where Jake will go to Germany as an example. They'll eat the same diet, the same breads, and they'll actually lose weight.
Yep.
But over here, you gain weight because they're putting all those chemicals in your foods, man.
On purpose.
You see, and you don't even realize it, like, man, we got to get the heck up out of here. Matter of fact, I saw a video of a teacher, trying to change the ways of, teaching, because they realizing, the kids weren't paying attention, they weren't learning. I believe he was bringing out the video games. He was using that Assassin's Creed video game that came out last year in China. So he was in Slovakia in Japan, right? And he was pretty much, equating it to history. Well, they ended up firing him. And so you go to the comment boards, it's like, hey, this America wants drones. It doesn't want people that's actually want to learn. This man was trying to change it up and actually teach the kids, and they were actually paying attention and taking heed. But they fire them because they just want drones, man.
Yeah, what's the quote? They want a nation of workers, not thinkers.
Not thinkers, you see?
So, that's why they regulate everything. They put laws and sanctions and everything. Like, you can't even, I believe it's illegal to damn collect rainwater. Like, who the hell are you? You can only have a certain amount of chickens on your farm. Like, nigga, technically you can't even, how do you even keep up with that? Because if you know about chickens, they pop out eggs really quick.
Yeah.
And a lot of them. So, like, how can you technically regulate that? You can't stop them from breeding, But here come this nigga. No, you can't do that. Like, this nigga need to go down, man.
Yeah.
So that Officer Tatum dude, man, I think he was talking to a Eve too, at one of them little college campuses or something. He was like, "Well, I don't see nothing wrong with America." He was like, you clean, you got on good clothes, you going to college. If you go to college, you getting indoctrinated even more.
Yeah.
And nowadays, at 2026, that a piece of paper, that degree, is just a higher level of wickedness that you're learning, right? And it doesn't even do anything, man. That a lot of people that went to college, they can't even get a job, man. I've been knowing about this since 2020 at least, when I was a little younger. Because I was around that age of, people going to college and stuff like that. I worked with so many people that had a college degree, they wasn't even using it. So what does that even mean? It don't mean anything.
Hey, matter of fact, it's even worse now with the boom of the AI.
Yep.
Right? I read the other day, I believe, it says over 20% of American jobs are now being taken over by AI. Right? So now your college degree doesn't mean anything. Matter of fact, I did a lesson a couple weeks ago. You have a boom of AI schools for little kids. So they just go to the classroom, get on the computer, type in, and the AI is teaching them. So now AI is taking away the teachers. AI is going to take away everything. And what's going to happen, man? It's getting into you to that squeeze, man, where the people's going to have to take the charagma, the MOTB. That's one part of it. All right, the war over there in the Strait of Hormuz, that's another part of it. Gas prices going up, the price of goods going up. That's that squeeze that's getting into where eventually the people can't take it anymore, right? The people ain't gonna have any jobs. There is gonna be no spending money, man, anymore. So what do you gotta do? They're gonna implement the MOTB, man. What they say, don't let a crisis go to waste. Don't be surprised if they implement some type of false flag. People been saying that. Oh, Iran came up through and attacked us. Now, not to say that it can't actually happen, absolutely. But how Babylon the Great moves, most definitely don't be surprised they put a false flag attack, and then it's 2020 all over again, but worse. They already talking about a new variant of the 2020 plague. I'm gonna say it like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we in those times. Stop playing around, Jake. You got anything?
I got this in Sirach 10 in verse 3. Because, hey, YASHAMIAHLA got the spirit on this man, the leader of Babylon, to do what he's doing. And it's, also the elites over him, but the Lord's controlling all of them to move how they moving in the earth, right? And they obviously don't care about the people, man. It says, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
The city shall be inhabited.
And we know that this man has a depopulation agenda, man. By 2030, he wants to get rid of the majority. I don't know the exact number, but he wants to get rid of the majority of the population.
I think it was like, if I'm not mistaken, because it was on the Georgia Guidestones that
got so-called
blown up a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I believe it said 8 billion people.
It's a lot of people.
8 billion people, man. That's a lot of people. And to have it to where they have a controlled amount of people, right? I believe somewhere in the upper hundreds of thousands, something to that effect, right? So they're planning to get rid of.
That's like according to them, that's like everybody though, because I think they say. So I think it might have been less than that, but like, because technically, if you look it up, they say the Earth's population is that number, I think.
I believe it's like 10 to 12 billion, maybe. I have to look it up. If you want to look it up real quick, it might be like 10 to 12 billion. I could be mistaken. It's been a while since I seen it.
Let me see. I think I can get it. Hey. It says maintain humanity under, I think that's 500 million. I think at the top. That's kind of hard to see. You probably
yeah. Might have to.
Yeah. So it was close to 1 billion. Because 8 billion, that's like everybody on Earth. But we obviously know that he ain't gonna get every single person.
It looked like 500 billion.
500 billion.
In perpetual balance with nature. That's what it looked like. 500 billion.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that million?
I think it's million.
That's a million. Salakia, 500 million.
Yeah.
That's 500 million. Yeah. And that's the plans of the wicked. The wicked is estranged from the womb, since they born, they come out speaking lies. They just have that wicked ass spirit upon them, man. Of kill, kill, kill. Matter of fact, I have to get it. They can't go to sleep unless they call someone to fail.
I think it's Proverbs 4. Yeah, if you look up the as of it says as of mid 2026, the world population is estimated to be approximately 8.3 billion people.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, if they try to get, they ain't gonna be able to accomplish it either way, because the scripture said, what does it say? In the fullness of their sufficiency, they should be in straits.
They shall be in straits. Yep.
So you ain't gonna be able to get every person,
Yep.
you know, and every country is not gonna be destroyed. You know, we know America is gonna be destroyed. We know, and that's ain't nobody gonna live over here again. We know that. And then our homeland, right, Jerusalem, that place, it's gonna get destroyed. But there's other parts of the world that ain't gonna get hit with no missiles, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna obviously have people that are from different nations still alive, you know, when the Lord come back, but they're gonna be put in chains.
Yeah.
They're gonna go into slavery.
Let's get this right here. Proverbs 4 and verse 16. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fail. Right? That is the spirit of the Edomite. That is how they move. That is how they conduct themselves. They love bloodshed. You know, you got a lot of the EP files, man, that's coming out of what they have done in darkness. And that's just a small inkling. Don't get it twisted. That's just a small inkling. Imagine what the wicked elites is doing, right? Imagine the paperwork on them, you know, because you even just go into the small inkling of the EP files of the wickedness that they were doing, hunting Jake, right? Say they were hunting black people. Say they was popping little boys, little girls, right? Yeah, we got to get the heck up out of here. This is the MO of the Edomite, drinking blood, doing all types of wickedness, man. And y'all can't see that. You know, this war was a distraction from it. And then all of a sudden, the other day, you had Melita Trump come out and say, I never had anything with Jeffrey, you know, with Jay, man. It's like, where the hell that come out from?
Jiff.
You know, just out of, from Jiff. that just came out of left field. You know what I'm saying? That's another distraction. Because Trump was getting a lot of heat about this war. And now you're seeing a lot of maggers, right, come out and, you know, condemn Trump. Like, hey, we ain't with this, man. I ain't vote for this.
Man, speaking of them, recently, you know, I didn't heard a couple you know, people get called nigger recently, man.
You
You
see?
know, so these people are mad, man. You know, and it's not even it's not even a valid reason to even like say that. Like, it's not, the situation was never that serious, you know, because it's I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Somebody told me at my job they was like, so I think somebody pulled out of a gas station or something, or across the street or something. Then like there was some Jake, and like he pulled out on the road. He shouldn't have, but you still shouldn't have like called him that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, of course it was an Edomite.
Yeah.
He screamed out the N-word, you know, at him. You know, that showed who he was. You know. Then recently, I think it was this week, somebody that I work with, I don't work with them that often, but they got called the same thing.
Man.
So these people, you know, I think I see this person too. They always wave, you know what I'm saying? But that lets you know these people, they just put on the act, man. When they smiling at you, they waving at you, they do that one little weird ass smile where they go, you know, they don't show their teeth, they just put their lips together. That's the Edomite way, man. I'm just tolerating you. I don't really like you like that. That's how they are.
Yeah. Spirit of the Edomites, man. Matter of fact, let's get some more on that. I'm gonna go up to Proverbs 4 and verse 13. Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go, keep her, for she is thy life. You see that? And that's why we out here on the highways and byways, doing our lessons as well, letting you know, take heed unto this Sophia, man. Take heed unto this wisdom, right? Because this is possible way, YAHARAHLA, you'll be able to get the heck up out of here, man. The Lord will provide you protection in the times to come, man. You know, like I had that dream a couple weeks ago about being wanted, right? Being on the run. That's coming. That's coming because the whole world gonna be crazy, man. Don't be surprised somehow, some way, you know, they twist it to where, you know, they try to pin it on the Hebrew Israelites, man. You know what I'm saying? And have you as a wanted man, or just in general when they implement the MOTB. You know what I'm saying? You either take that or be outcasted. These are the times that we coming into, right? So let's get some more. Enter not in the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away, right? Because the way of wickedness is death.
Yeah.
You see? Right? You doing whatever you want to do. You scoffing, you're mocking. Matter of fact, if you read in Proverbs 8, what's that, 33 or so, at the last verse or so, all those that hate me love death. So check it. If you hate the men of the Lord, you hate what we saying, hate what we doing. Matter of fact, you hate the Lord. So if you hate the Lord, you love death, right? Let's get back to it. And once again, right? Verse 16, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fail. So, Paul, for they eat the bread of weakness and drink the wine of violence. And that's the MO of the Edomite. Follow not the way of the heathens, man, as the scriptures say. Now, Slaki. Say real quick. There we go. There we go. Yeah, do you have some nut?
This is John 8:47. It says, he that is of Yahweh heareth Yahweh Shemashah's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of Yahweh Shemashah. So you Jakes, man, that don't want to hear this word, you know, ultimately it's not us, man. The Lord is just using us as vessels. That's all we are, man. You know, the words that we speak, and these come from the heavens, you know, straight from the throne, you know. So you really just despising your own salvation and despising your own power, your creator. So, you know, that's not a good thing, man. You ain't gonna realize what you've done until you in a situation you can't get out of, you know, or it's real dire like Jacob's trouble, which we pretty much already in. It just ain't going full blown, right? Like how we was talking about earlier, you know, you still got people out here doing what they do, living and having fun and all that stuff. But it's gonna come to the point to where you're gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because some type of, FF could have happened, and a boom, it's all over with it, shut down. You know, which I believe I seen some I forgot, I think it was a brother or an elder that posted the a screenshot of like they were talking about the cyber pandemic thing. So that could happen, man. You know, I highly believe that that can happen. You know,
Yeah.
the Lord might have that happen because I think brothers have had dreams about that.
And
You
matter of
know?
fact, they also talking about a energy crisis, man.
Yep.
You know, with the war over there in the Strait of Hormuz, they talking about an energy crisis. You know, because countries can't, they rely upon that fuel, so they gotta cut back. Matter of fact, I believe we brought it out last cap how New York may not be open 24 hours, man. You know, the city that never sleeps.
So it's gonna sleep.
It's gonna sleep. Y'all gonna have to sleep, right? That mirth, that joy, you ain't gonna have that time anymore, man. You know, you ain't gonna have that time anymore. Slocky, I got a end time news if it pull up again. Right, end time news. Here's one of it. Right, tech company launches AI avatar of Jesus that you could connect with for $1.99 a minute. You niggas is through. You niggas is through. I believe I sent this in the group chat the other day. You niggas is through, man. Right? Instead of taking heed to the men of the Lord that's giving you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you rather talk to a damn AI bot that's gonna be feeding you some bullshit, man. Matter of fact, I believe we brought it out and brothers did lessons on it. How they're gonna have AI of your dead, of your you know, your dead loved ones. You're gonna be able to hear their voices and talk to them. That's necromancy, man.
Yeah, that's off, man. That's like basically a witch.
Yeah. You see, these people is off. You know, we're not telling you not to mourn and cry over your loved one. Do that in the proper time, you know, but don't be too sad all the time.
Matter of fact, if you go into the account of Saul, he did that. He went to a witch and you know, he tried to, see what was going on with him, because the Lord wasn't dealing with him no more, man. He put an evil spirit on him, and he wasn't in that righteous state of mind, man. The Lord took the Holy Spirit off of him. Once you got that spirit going off you, man, it's over.
Yeah.
And he did that, and it still didn't work. That proves that the right hand side, they're both real. The right hand side and the left hand side, witchcraft is real, but the right hand side is more powerful, man. Because the Lord controls both sides, and the Lord is righteous. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. But if you want to get that, Doc, and I think it's in 1 Samuel.
Give me 1 second, because I was looking for it real quick. Right.
Yeah, that's in there for a reason, man.
Yeah.
Just for situations like how we were just talking about, people trying to speak to their lovers. That's off, man. You ain't supposed to do that. Once they gone, I mean, they with they spirits in the spiritual realm.
And matter of fact, they at peace.
Yep.
They good. They're not hurting anymore. They feeling good, man. It's 1 Samuel. 1 second.
I think it's like the last
28. 1 Samuel 28. And it says the witch are endured. And you're going into it, if you know anything about Star Wars, they have the Endor, And if I'm not mistaken, which I wouldn't be surprised, right? You have Star Wars, they're based off a lot of things in the Bible, of course, but also, I believe I watched something on it like years ago, how it's going into like, witches, man, with the force and all that type of stuff, it goes into witchcraft, man, if you see how they, maneuver through it. But anyways, getting to it, 1 Samuel 1 Samuel 28, right? In those days, the Philistines gathered their troops and warred to fight against Israel. Matter of fact, hold on, Slaggy, let me get to the point. 1 Samuel 28 and verse 7. Right? 1 Samuel 28, verse 7. So Saul instructed his servants, find me a woman who is a medium. Right? What is that? A witch. Matter of fact, if you could, go into the definition of a medium. That way it break it down even more. Matter of fact, I may look it up in a blue letter too.
All right, I'm gonna do it. How do you spell that word, medium?
Give me 1 sec. It is MEDIUM. Should have the blue letter Bible on hand.
It's 1 Samuel 28 and 7.
Yeah, 1 Samuel 28 and verse 7. I ain't got the blue letter Bible on here. Thought I did. No. All right. Needed an update, of course. That's why.
Medium. Let me see.
You can probably look it up just in the Google. Just get the straight definition right there. And we'll probably get in blue letter. Shit, man. My blue letter got an update.
It says, this is an AI overview. It says in 1 Samuel 28:7, it says, "Find me at medium" refers to King Saul's desperate command to locate women with a familiar spirit, medium or necromancer, or conjure to deceased prophet Samuel, a practice strictly forbidden by Mosaic law.
See that? Strictly forbidden
We
by
got a lot of
laws.
Haitians that do that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I be, I don't know if you've seen this one dude. I think he's Haitian, I think, but he's like from Florida or something on TikTok. I think his channel is called Miami Hood Stories. Like I'll be watching him. I'm like, this nigga, man, he got a lot of like it's like some eerie stuff. Like he got, I guess, I don't know if it's true or not, but he said it is. You know, he's from Florida. There's a lot of like Haitians down there, a lot of Levites.
Yeah.
A lot of them into that voodoo
Yeah.
stuff, and that's wicked, man. You ain't supposed to be doing that. You know, they say they be, seeing stuff, and you got to look it up, like you got to listen to the stories and see what the spirit give you on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what the hell? Like that's bugged out.
Yeah, I believe the scriptures go into how, the tribe of Levi had gotten polluted, man.
Yeah,
That's why you see a lot of them in that witchcraft, especially down there in New Orleans and stuff, man. Doing all types of wickedness, you know. On the left hand side, man.
yeah.
Instead of doing righteousness on the right hand side, because you had it to where, which is cold, man. Which I had to look it up, but I'm just gonna roughly paraphrasing. You look it up in the scriptures how cold Levi was. Say, you feel it in your spirit that your woman, is laying down with another man. Which a lot of times in the spirit, when these things are happening. Here in Babylon the Great, they advocate for that. But Levi was so cold, make like a special drink for the woman to drink, and she would drink it, and would show out, yeah, she has been, or it would show no, she hasn't. So that was just one of the cold ways how the Lord had things set up, man. I believe even Apostle Tahar was going into how the Lord had like, was it like a TV back then? I had to look it up. It's been a while, man.
I know they had the Urim and the Thummim.
Yeah.
The priests had the Levites.
Yeah.
I believe I could be wrong. Elders and brothers can correct me on this. I believe they said it's kind of like the internet, kind of like what we got now.
Yeah.
I guess kind of like what going on what you were saying.
Yeah. That's probably yeah. That's probably what I was going on, was saying how you can see what was what was happening, what this person did.
And it ain't like on the left hand side, man. The Lord got different things set up for a reason. It ain't like you got a ball and somebody's rubbing their hands.
Yeah.
You can see what they doing.
Like a little crystal ball, yeah. Because I didn't want to say something like that, but the Lord had it to where it's on the right hand side where it's righteous, where you can see a person being righteous.
What's the cards called? You got the little cards.
I think it's tarot cards.
Yeah, tarot cards, man. Like, that shit wicked.
Yeah, that's shit's wicked. Getting on the phone with a damn witch and she doing all that. That's wicked shit, man.
You see the videos. I'm like, man, what the hell are you doing? Like,
they advocating for that shit. I believe I was a little kid, I already knew that shit was wicked, man.
Yeah.
I think they had it on BET, of all places, for one of the commercials or something like that. Get your tarot card reading. That's wicked.
Yeah, they got one on they got one like in Louisville. It's kind of close to where that one road is, where I think it's Preston.
I think yeah.
They got
I
one over there.
I didn't know they still had it. I was just thinking about that.
I don't never see no cars over there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they still in business, but oh well. But I in the world, I used to always kind of like when I was in the world, I used to like want to go in there and see if it was real. But I ain't never went in there. I don't need to go in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just through the spirit. you know, the Lord had us to where we already knew that was wicked.
Yeah.
You know, just knew that that shit was wicked. That shit was off, man. You know.
That's basically people trying to see the future, man. That's like you trying to bypass the way of the Lord. The Lord didn't mean for you to see the future. Well, the Lord does that on the righteous side, like if you say brothers have dreams,
Yeah.
right? But that's up to the Lord to give you that dream or vision to do that with certain things, like, you know, how the dream you talking about where the persecution and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Those are dreams where the Lord is pretty much, you know, in a roundabout way showing you the future. You know, it may not go down exactly like that, but we know these things are written in the scriptures, so
Mm-hmm.
that's righteous. You know, we didn't smoke anything or because I've been told that, man, you did this and did that. Who do you think you are? You know, first coming in, man, people say all types of stuff, man. Calling you a witch. All you doing is reading the Bible,
Yeah.
you know? And I believe one body in Satan said that what Yahweh did was witchcraft, if I'm not mistaken. Like the
Yeah.
miracles and stuff.
Yeah. You see? What Yahweh did was miracles, man. He was healing. He was healing, man.
You might as well say superheroes, what they do is witchcraft. You might as well, because that's not natural. I mean, if they want to get deep
You
into
want to
it,
get deep into it?
you know?
You know what I'm saying? What was our forefathers doing? David was jumping over a whole wall, man. Take it like that's spiritual power, man. You know, most definitely David would have been able to jump from the free throw line and do it in between the leg 360
Man,
behind the back.
Hey,
You know
Jordan
what
don't
I'm
got
saying?
nothing on King David.
You know what I'm saying? For him to jump over a whole wall, man. Look what was Samson doing, man? Samson was putting in work. All the men of the Lord, you know, putting in work. Some shape, form, or another, man. The mighty men that were under David putting in work. They said David was killing the tens of thousands, man. Even Saul, in which the Lord took the spear from him, they said he was killing thousands.
Yeah.
You know, so even that was spiritual power. Even that was spiritual power to kill tens of thousands of men, you know, on your own, right? You watch these videos of these superheroes getting jumped and them taking them out with ease. That's what we were doing.
Man, all y'all niggas, man, that watch the superhero movies, stop watching them then. Stop watching them.
If you saying it's witchcraft, man.
Because you don't say it about them superhero movies. Because really, what's the dude, Stan Lee? I believe he got the inspiration to make those superheroes from the Bible.
Yeah.
So stop watching them, man.
Yeah. You even go into it, a lot of these movies, as Apostle Gabar will often go into, you know, you got to have a Apostle Gabar. Hey, the apostles in general, they would say you have to have a vast understanding and knowledge of the Bible, right, to make these movies. Because the Bible, man, it got story events that actually happen, all right, stories upon stories that you can grab from, you know. Even if you're watching some of your cartoons, you know, and stuff like that, where you have like the twin brothers, you know what I'm saying? I say even one like Naruto, man. I know it's a little nerd shit, but you even go into that when you really break it down, right? Naruto and Sasuke, if you really break it down, those were two brothers, and they had enmity, right? Saga, I know it's a little nerd shit, but you go into it, they had enmity against each other, right? Both clans, right? They had that hatred towards each other, man, right? But eventually, you know, of course, in the show they got cool, but you can equate that to us here now, right?
Man.
Esau, our evil twin brother, man.
All right.
We got enmity versus with him, man. Matter of fact, the two main characters of the Bible is Esau and Jacob. You probably wouldn't know that if you listen to your pastor, but your two main characters of the Bible is Esau and Jacob, man.
Everybody else is just extras in the movie.
Yep.
That's just how the Lord set it up. But I got a precept to you know, how the apostles said that you know, they have to have a vast understanding of the Bible to a certain extent. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, Verse 16, it says, all scripture is given by inspiration of Yahweh, YASHAMIAHLA, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. But the key point is inspiration, man. These movie directors, that make the superhero movies, they read the Bible before, man. They know what's in there. They know. They understood. They knew we was Israelites before we knew, and they hid it from us. But that was all a part of the council. You go to Psalms 83, you know. It just makes me think of I seen a video, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I don't know if you heard this one wicked nigga, man. His name is Woody or something. He's I think he was
with the bald head be doing shit.
He was I think he was talking about on I don't know what made me think of it, but he was talking about how like how basically how Esau treats us and they don't treat nobody else like that. They don't even treat Africans like that. He realized that. And this nigga wicked. This nigga did some wicked shit, man. And he in the world. And he understands that we not the same people. So
a nigga in the world can come to that conclusion, but a lot of you other Jakes, you still can't come to the conclusion that we're two different people, man.
He's supposedly like stupid and all that stuff. I didn't see other videos, people saying he was slow and stuff, but he understands that. Not saying this gonna happen to him, but the Lord can, change a man like that, and have him come into the truth and have him be speaking. I'm not saying him specifically, I'm just saying in general, who niggas despise and think is slow. The Lord can use that person, because he's an Israelite, the Lord can use him and have him out here. But, but that could be any Jake that was, looked at as stupid or dumb, you don't know anything, your ass slow, but the Lord can do anything.
Yeah.
But he realized that. So obviously he has a brain.
Yep.
You got a lot of other so-called spiritual Jakes that are in other philosophies and all that stuff. You think that every fucking dark-skinned person is the same person or the same race. That's what you think. A lot of Jakes think that. Oh, well, we're all black. We're all the same kinfolk. No, that doesn't mean that.
No. Because all nations in the beginning had melanin. You had Esau, Edom, they came on the scene, and especially when he became the Greeks, right? Because he was fighting the Persians, right? The Agagites, which are small heads, right? Come to the line of the small heads, right? When they came into power as the Greeks, which they like to tell you in school, the first civilization was the Greeks. No, that was your first time coming into power, right? That was your first time coming into power. The Romans, that were you. The Jews, that was not you, right? That was not you. Matter of fact, I may do a lesson on that, I may not, but, it's imperative to follow the ways of the Lord, follow how the Lord tell you to do it, because you had John Hyrcanus, I believe the second, that tried to implement the kingdom of heaven, right? When they had the Greeks in subjection, which are the Edomites, right? The Edomites took that name because they have been running away from that name of Esau, Edom. So they took that name, the Greeks. They took on their culture, right? The head, the little thing on the top of their helmet, that type of clothing. They took that from the Greeks. But once again, right, you had John Hyrcanus put them into subjection and had them follow our ways, right? And it's imperative that you follow what the Lord tell you to do, how the Lord tell you. And don't try to implement the kingdom of heaven right here and right now. That's going off. Like you go into it, all right, Abati boy, he supposed to be put to death.
Yeah.
Now you will be going off, right? Not necessarily to the scriptures, but technically you would be going off if you put that little, put him 6 feet under. I'm gonna say it like that, right? You can't do that in this kingdom. You gotta wait patiently for the Lord. That's what you gotta do. for the Lord to put everything in order. Like you had them Jakes over there in Jerusalem, in Israel, right? And they got kicked out. That was a couple years ago. They got kicked out. And really, that was the Lord having mercy upon them. Because some of them may very well be of the elect. But really, that's the Lord having mercy upon them. Instead, you know, but a lot of them got mad. Why the Lord kicking us out? Well, I mean, Sluggy, why are these people kicking us out? We're the righteous people. You know, we're supposed to be, because you're not supposed to be over there, Jake. That place is going to be hit with nuclear destruction. Matter of fact, as we speak, or I should say a couple of days ago or so, right? You've been having a whole bunch of bombings, right? They've been getting hit. I believe I saw the other day on the news how they said about 300 people over there in Israel has been sent to the hospital or so, which, you know, they probably downgraded the numbers. I wouldn't be surprised a lot of people over there got sent to the spirit world, man. I wouldn't be surprised, because me and you was going into it the other day of the wickedness that they're doing unto the Iranians, man. You know? Just, you know, say you need some medical help and the ambulance is coming through, and these people will get in front of the ambulance and deliberately slow down, right? So the ambulance can't help you, man. They would shoot up the water tanks. They were beating up the old and young, right? So we seeing firsthand why the Lord is going to require double upon these people. But it's like, yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is Zephaniah, right? Chapter 3, verse 8. It says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations," and that's what the Lord is doing now, right? It says that I may assemble together the nations, that I may Salakia, that I may assemble the kingdoms, right, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy, man. So World War III, man, it's gonna take place, man. Right? And where the Israelites was at, man, over there in our homeland now, you wasn't supposed to be over there. Right? Because a couple of them spots got hit over there, man. You know, so it was actually mercy that the Lord, you know, had y'all get kicked out. You know, it wasn't no thing of like, you know, oh, you know, you necessarily getting judged, you know, because look what's happening now. Or y'all should have never went over there. But that's thanks to the leader that they had at the time. I think it was like a long time ago. You know, some man, he wasn't a part of like One West, but he knew he was an Israelite. You know, a lot of Jakes followed him.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, he in that spiritual realm now, so he knows the truth fully. You know, but some of them may be a part of the elect, man, and we gotta wait for YASHAMIAHLA to send that judgment on the earth, man. We ain't supposed to be doing stuff ourselves, man. You know, certain things like that. You know, putting people to death. We ain't supposed to do that. That's not our lot.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord is gonna handle that. You know, in due time.
Yeah. What the scriptures say, vengeance is mine. Right? Brother just read, you know, the Lord's going to exact their vengeance, man. You know, they touch the apple of the Lord's eye. These things must happen. These things will happen, right? And it's righteous judgment. Righteous judgment, man. You know, they can't get away with all the wickedness that they have done unto our people.
Nope.
You know, that would be unbalanced. But here it is, you have the men of the Genesis over there preaching that they can be saved, they can be delivered. They can be on the chariot with you.
Yeah, hell no.
Hell no. But here it is, they were hanging your people, calling your people niggers, spicks and spittles, man. Kicking them while they down, bombing. Right? Don't forget that they were bombing. Right? This stuff was not too long ago, man. Couple, you know, 20.
Couple decades ago.
Yeah, a couple decades ago.
I believe they bombed Philly. I think that's the city of Philadelphia in like the 80s, I think. You know, which that's about what, 40 years ago? You know, that wasn't a long time ago.
And a lot of these people are still alive today that did that.
Yep.
Don't get it twisted. A lot of these people are still alive today that did that. And you think they're going to get away with that, what they have done? No. They must pay. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We just read in Proverbs 4, right? They can't go to sleep unless they call someone to fill.
Man, they still got I did a lesson on that, you know, where the video I did of the plantation in Mississippi from 2009.
Yeah.
You know, hey, there's no telling, man, what this man is really doing, man. You know, he's still doing wickedness, man. A lot of these people that walk around and that's driving around that wave at you, smile at you, like how we were talking about earlier. You don't know what they're doing. You know, you don't know. Only the Lord knows. You know, they could be running the whole operation of you know, modern day slavery, man. Like, hey, I advise y'all, if brothers, to check that movie out, Annabelle. You know, I seen that movie like 6 years ago, but it, you know, it made me really think, like, who's to say Esau ain't really doing that?
Yeah.
You know? And then I came across that that video from a plantation, you know, supposedly still kind of being ran in 2009. That was, how many years ago was that? That wasn't even that long ago.
That still ain't that long
That's
ago.
modern day.
Yeah.
And Mississippi got a lot of stuff going on, man. And every time I done drove through Mississippi, man, you can feel it, man.
You
You can
probably feel it, yeah.
Yeah, the Lord got a spirit down
Yeah.
there, man.
Some
You know,
type of spirit that you can feel. That's why I never had any, you know, spirit to really live down there, man. Cause you know, all the stories, all the, you know, like you said, even just driving down there, it's like, man.
oh yeah, I think they didn't officially abolish slavery until 2013.
See?
This is modern day, 2013. So that's about what, 13, 14 years ago? But y'all Jakes is still free, right? This is heaven. You equal to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You can believe it all you want.
And then they had the nerve to try to go into, you know, the history books and say I was just in, you know, we were just indentured servants. You know, we got paid for our labor, you know, or we were working off our debt or something like that. We didn't go through any slavery. We didn't get our backs kicked in and our children taken away. You know, all that didn't happen.
We all know about Emmett Till, but he's just one of millions of Israelites
Yeah.
that we know of. What about the ones that we don't know?
Yeah.
You know? You know, even when I was in the world, before I knew I was Israelite, you know, when you hear about some stories, it always make you mad, you know? But there's a reason for that, because you're those people. It may have not necessarily technically been you necessarily, but that's your people, you know? And you know, the Lord could have had to happen to you, you know? Who knows? You know, that's one of the reasons why we don't know our past life too, because if we knew our past life, we knew what this man did, we wouldn't be able to be sane.
We would have been bucking out here, man. If we knew the wickedness that this man did to us in our past life, like the brother said, man, we would have been bucking. We would have been out here, man. Hey, bro, we gotta shoot the fade right now, man. Come on, man. Let me look for this nigga right now. You know, that's why. Matter of fact, we'll have to get it in Ezekiel 25. So I love it right there. Right, let me get that real quick. Ezekiel 25.
That's John. He didn't do anything. He's a nice guy.
Oh, no. If you knew what this nigga did, oh, man, that nigga's weird. You know, that's another reason why, you know, you go into it. We have no respect for you Bati boy Edomites, too. When you really think about it. Because if you know about buck breaking, that Edomite, that's a Bati boy that's walking around here, hey, he could have been one of them niggas, man. That were doing that to our people. You see? That's why you have no respect for these people. Now, we are in the spirit. We are here down in Babylon the Great, so I'm not telling you to go out here be buck crazy, man. Absolutely not. You still have to maneuver through this world wisely, man. All right? Still maneuver through this world wisely. But best believe, if I have an encounter with one of those niggas, I'm putting some curses on that nigga, man.
And don't touch us either.
Yeah, don't
we ain't gonna
touch
be nobody's
me.
punching bag. We ain't gonna throw the first punch or nothing. Hey, but if you touch your brother, I mean, what do you expect us to do? And I say that for anybody. I mean, anybody, if somebody gets into an altercation with them, I mean, they gonna hit them back, you know, if they didn't start it.
Yeah,
I've always been told that since growing up, somebody hit you, better hit their ass back. I've always been told that.
yeah. That's why, you know, we don't respect that Dr. King, man. Matter of fact, the scriptures go into it in Jeremiah. You know, a man having a dream.
We keep everything spiritual to the
Yeah.
best of our ability, though. But
Yeah,
if it just don't happen, I mean, yeah,
yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. But
Yeah.
you know, Dr. King was talking about, hey, just, you know, just come out there peacefully and hold hands, and you know, you want the people to come together. Make sure you don't fall down.
Oh yeah, thanks, Phil.
It should be good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a plant, man.
Yeah, he was a plant. You know, he even said on his deathbed, you know, I fear I put my people into a burning building, man. You know, because he's talking about holding hands with everybody, man. When you go into it, right, our people were doing better. Our people knew who the enemy was. Our people were doing better, right? That was all a ploy to get you Jakes indoctrinated. Because they have videos of before they was indoctrinated, before they were, you know, in the schools with the Edomites, right? Our people loved themselves. Our people wasn't wearing the blonde hair. Our people wasn't putting in the blue contacts, man. Our people were together. You know, if they got married, they were together. Their families were tight knit. You know what I'm saying? But come in, you know, when our people came together with the Edomites, that's when it was coming down. But even before then, you know, which I may do a lesson on it. I saw another video the other day. You know, it showed all of the wickedness, like in all these towns that the Edomites have flooded and destroyed. You know, that's another reason why we couldn't get through. That's another reason why this place ain't our kingdom, because they will come through and flood your town.
They can do that today, even if you had your own community, Jake.
Yeah.
What you gonna do if Esau does that? You can't do anything. You don't. He runs the government. He runs the legislative system. It might not be the right terminology, but you know, you get the point. He runs the system that we have to operate in every single day. His face is on the money. You know, he's the current ruler of this setup.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, he may be able to do some stuff, but then, you know, if this devil, if he wants something, they even do that with these data centers that they've been building.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land that people be having, like even their own people, they be having farmlands and they be offering them money.
A exuberant amount of money.
If they don't want to do it, they're gonna take that shit anyway.
They're gonna take it anyways, man.
Yeah, that's how he gets down. He do what he want to do.
Yeah, cause say your house is paid off. You know, say you're not on time of paying your property tax. It's over. That's another reason why we got to get out of here, Jake. Because your house can be paid off, but your ass still got to pay that property tax, man. Just to have your property on land. This devil is wicked. That's why the other nations are going to be joyful. You nations are going to be joyful when we are in power, man. Y'all going to be joyful. Y'all going to see that our ways is prosperous. Y'all going to see that the whole animals, it says in the book of Isaiah 14, the trees are going to be singing, man. The trees is in hell, man. Because really, when you go into it, like even right here on the mulch, you're not even supposed to put the mulch all the way that high, man. You know, if you ever see like some fresh planted trees or some trees like that, and they got like the mulch up high, that's a quick way to cause mildew.
Yeah, what's the point of you planting trees before the sparkers even here? There was trees already over here.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You working backwards. You know, it doesn't make sense. I think that the term where they cut a lot of trees down is called deforestation.
Deforestation, yep.
And that's because of this devil got the nerve to have a Earth Day. Nigga, you don't do anything that supports the Earth. This month too, in like I think another week or two. nigga gonna have a birthday. But yeah, he's spraying, you know, chemtrails in the sky, cutting down a whole bunch of trees that same. You ain't doing nothing that supports the earth. This man don't make no sense.
That don't make no sense, man. That don't make no sense.
I got this in Genesis 3, it's going into the serpent, which was a man, right? Was really, you know, in the reincarnation, you know, further down the line, it was Esau, Edom.
Yeah.
Right? And it's spiritual because it says the fall of man. Right? It says the serpent, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, but you go into it, beast is talking about men. Right? You go into other precepts, it says, which the Lord Yahweh shall have made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, ye have Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Right? Which that fruit was talking about other philosophies. Right? You gotta stay on a straight and narrow path, man. You know, which we know ultimately, you know, hey, Eve said, yeah, you know, this is cool, let's do it. And Adam, he agreed. You know, he agreed to go off. You know? And that's what this man, Esau Edom, he wants you to do, to go off. That's why he had councils. That's why he came up with certain laws and certain programs, right? To you know, so-called benefit you, but it really doesn't, like kicking the man out of the house. Because we was talking about how, you know, back then in the 60s and 50s, Jake was more together. But this man came out with certain things that pushed us against each other.
Yep.
And that goes all the way back then to during that time. Adam, you know, Eve, right? You know, which if you go into it as well, there was many Adams, right? But there was one chosen Adam. You know, but you had this one wicked nigga. You know, that's why I call him the serpent. It's symbolic, right? It wasn't no damn snake. You know how Christians teach. You know, they think that the snake just said, "That's all." No,
No.
you know, it's symbolic. The scriptures speak in parables and dark sayings, man. You know.
Yeah, that was a man, not a snake talking, not a snake spitting raps and rhymes. That was a man. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, God, that was a man. You know, and this devil man. He did all types of things, you know, to put us against each other and to stop us from, you know, making progress in all shapes, forms, and fashions, man. You know, he went out of his way to do that because he was the wicked, he was designed to be like that. You know,
Oh, green stuff.
all the green stuff.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think I seen somebody doing that last time.
Okay.
But that's this man. You know, and no wonder why he hid the scriptures as well. You know, he got a thing called the Slave Bible where he took a lot of verses out and he reworded them and put certain words in there to make it seem like it fits his narrative. Like I forgot what version it is, but it says that we sold ourselves or something like that.
Man.
You know, this man is the damn devil, man. You know, and the average Edomite walking around, you think they care? No, they don't care, man. They care about, you know, you upholding their system, right? Believing in America. Make America great. That's what they believe in. They don't care about what you had to endure, what your downfall was. They don't care.
Matter of fact, what you saying, I'm gonna get this real quick because you said they had the slave Bible, man. You going into that. You march yourself. You march yourself. You would have been better off of not giving us Bibles at all. Or just trying to do away with the Bibles, but you go into the accounts. You know, the Lord had it to where men of the Lord, you know, were given the Spirit and wrote down the Bible anyway. So regardless, it's going to happen, even if you got rid of the Bible, right? But you march yourself. Revelation 22 and verse 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, power shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, power shall take away his part of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in the book. Let me get a precept.
Woo!
All right. Proverbs 30 and verse 5, every word of power is pure. He's a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, check this, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. Right? So this man Esau Edom has marked himself. He has no part in the kingdom. He has no part in the kingdom, man. His only part in the kingdom is to be picking up rubble, burying dead bodies, and to ultimately be a slave. That's your only part in the kingdom. You have no rulership. The other nations in general have no rulership either, right? Now, at least the Lord gonna have mercy upon them, and they're gonna have their own lands back.
After they serve.
After they serve
in
us.
slavery.
Yep.
In physical things.
Yep.
You know? Because they had a hand in us, in our heritage being stripped from us too.
Yeah, Psalms 83.
Yeah. So they not getting off scot-free. They may not have been like the head of that snake like Esau Edom, but they had a part in it.
Yep.
So, you're gonna get your just due as well, man. That's why it's imperative that you go into your history, Jake. A lot of Jakes, they don't care about history because, Esau Edom, he teaches you bullshit, and Jake knows that they get taught bullshit.
Yeah.
And a lot of Jakes, they don't want to, like when you watch these slave movies like Django, what's it called, 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Jake gets mad at that. Jake not in the truth. They get mad at those things when they see it, but they get mad at it because they got a damn friend that's a damn Edomite, so they don't want to accept the truth. But it is the truth. You can't stop something that's factual being the fact. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You being emotional about it, and you think it ultimately goes back to what you was taught in the church. They died and went to hell. It wasn't them. There's no such thing as regeneration. So you looking at them like it wasn't them, but it was. Really, that's all the Lord just, if the Lord got you in that spirit to where you don't come into the truth and you want to continue believing in that and thinking that, the average Edomite, that's a new spirit, coming on the earth, that's just your lot to be destroyed. But the water, how about Shah, the Lord got the spirit on us to receive this truth, to understand it. We know what the pastors and the church has been teaching is wrong, right? Like regeneration is scriptural, right?
Yep.
The scriptures tell you in Exodus 20th chapter that the Lord visits no iniquity upon the fathers until the children upon the third and fourth generation. Why is that? Because they come back.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. And people say, people been doing the same things since the beginning of time. I've heard people say that in the world. Why is that as well? Because the same spirits are back from the time of Noah. Right? People not giving a damn about the prophecies. People don't care. They think this world's gonna last forever. Well, you got another thing coming. People thought the same thing back then. They thought it was gonna be forever and they was gonna continue in their wickedness. Well, the Lord showed them that it was over for them.
Mm-hmm.
It started raining.
Yep. Matter of fact, I want to get this real quick going on regeneration, right? Yeah, y'all know this account, right? John 9 and verse 1. And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin? Check this out, how did they ask this question, right? Who did sin? This man or his parents that he was born blind? Now, why would they ask that question? Spirits, man. Because what the hell?
There's no car even over there. We're blowing a horn at.
And how are you making a U-turn? I don't know. I don't know. Spirits, man. Right when we was getting into it. So anyways, get back to it. Right? Why would they ask that question? Who sinned? Was it this man or his parents? The brother just quoted the scripture. You have to pay for what you did in your past life. Right? Why is it that you get judged the third or fourth generation? Because that's when you come back. That's when you come back. I wouldn't be surprised if that was them that had all that trash
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because that's the spirit of the Edomite, man.
Or they did that shit on purpose. Just
Yeah, just did it. Yeah. All right, verse 3. Yahushua answered, neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of power should be made manifest in him. Right? Matter of fact, I'm going to get verse 4. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. That night cometh when no man can work. That time is coming. That time is coming. We must do this work now. Make our call and election sure. Blow this trumpet. Warn you of the times to come. Right? Because the time is coming where we're not going to be out here. Right? Going back to the verse above it. Right? This man was blind. Because normally once again, normally these things will happen unto you because of what you did in your past life.
Yeah.
Right? But in this case, this man was made blind to show the power of the Lord. Right? Because I know a Jake, I believe he's still in this truth. He's blind. Now he wears the shirt and fringes and stuff like that. He knows he's an Israelite, but he's blind. You know, hey, you know, it's all through the mercy of the Lord. The Lord may have it to where the Lord will show his power, and that brother may be given sight, you know. I'll be thinking it like that, you know. But yeah, normally, when you see a baby get jacked up, when you see somebody get jacked up, when you see somebody's blind, deaf, shoot, maybe both, it's because what they did in their past life, man. And they had that understanding in the ancient world, man. Nowadays, people, you know, they look at regeneration, reincarnation as a, you know, it's a fairy tale. No, it's something that actually happens.
They'll believe it when it comes to Buddhism or Hinduism.
Yeah.
Oh, I could turn into a rock, or I could turn into a damn snail or something stupid. People will believe it then, but when it comes to you, you know, coming back on Earth, you know, as a human, and you being messed up, you don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to accept your judgment. You know, that's some BS, man. You know, the Lord ain't dealing with your people any damn way, man. The Lord is only dealing with the elected Israelites.
Yeah. Like the brother quoted earlier, man, everybody else, or said earlier, it's like it, really everybody else is extras in the movies. Even the Edomites. Yeah, they're main characters in the Bible, but when you break it down to the nitty-gritty, there's still extras in the movies, man. You know? They're still extras. So you people that's not taking heed, you're extra in the movie, man. You have no important part. You're just one of those people that's made to gasp when they see the men of the Lord with their power, man.
I'll be saying, I don't know if you ever talked to a Edomite that was deaf. You know, I was like, man, he probably was cussing out the Most High and saying all types of wicked stuff, man. To where the Lord made him like that, so you couldn't speak or hear in this life.
Yeah, I'll be thinking about that, man. Like he probably did some wickedness back in the day, man. He probably hung a Jake. He probably did some shit, man.
Man,
He probably did some shit. Matter of fact, that also reminds me, talking about regeneration, reincarnation, right? There was this little kid that I knew that went to one of my dad's church. He's hey, I know through the spirit he's an Edomite. But looking back and coming into this truth, right? He had that spirit of war in him, man. And I said, hey, he probably died in World War II, man. Cause even at a young age, like this boy was like 2 or 3 years old, picking up a gun and acting like he was an army man and stuff like that. I remember that. I was like, hey, old boy probably died in World War II, man. He got that straight up, you know, Edomite spirit of picking up the gun and shooting, man.
yeah, killing and murder.
Yeah. See?
You know, everything's all through the spirit, man. You know, these people doing what they're doing, they all on their lot. You know, well, whatever the case may be that they're doing, the Lord placed them right there specifically for the time being until He don't want them doing that no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Even these athletes, these rappers, and hey, the Lord got you like that, and then hey, eventually you either gonna repent or be destroyed. You know, if you're an Israelite, you know, which a lot of these like Eminem, he an Israelite, you know, for sure. And man, we know that, you know, Edomite, man, they don't have rhymes like that. They can't, you know, they don't have that swag, man. They don't have that flexing spirit like that. Jake be flexing, man. Edomite, if they try to do that, they usually gonna be like, "Well, what the hell are you doing?" Like that's how you gonna look at him. You ain't gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I see." You ain't gonna look at him like that. You just gonna be like, "Just stop, man. Just get some help." That's how you gonna look at it. No flavor, no salt, nothing.
Yeah.
Sugar.
No salt Malones, man. That's what it is, man. No salt Malones. Matter of fact, I got this right here, Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, and iniquity was there, right? Place of judgment happens under the sun, right? So your judgment happens. You don't die and go to hell and be burning forever. That's unbalanced. Right? Proverbs 11 and 1, a false balance is abomination to Yahweh thy power. But a just weight is what? Is his delight. You see? The Lord deals with balance. You know, hey, what happened to the Egyptians? You know, ask a Christian that. What happened to the Egyptians? You know, did they all die and go to hell? Because, you know, so-called Christianity wasn't there back then. They all died and go to hell. No. They got their judgment. And, you know, they're back here today. Some of them is back here today. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, that's why you see a lot of those Hamites on the in the arms of the angel commercial. You know, them doing bad, looking all, you know, skinny, fat, you know, starving. You know what I'm saying? Because they touched the apple of the Lord's eye. Matter of fact, what the scriptures say in Genesis 9, and verse 25, I believe. You know, cursed be Ham. You know, Lord took away because Ham, you go into it, right? He laughed at his father's nakedness. Because what a real man's supposed to do, if you see a man naked, you're supposed to look away. You're not supposed to look upon another man's nakedness. This man Ham just over there looking and laughing at his father. So his father, right, Noah was like, hey, cursed be him. Right? And so the Lord took away Ham's place of dwelling.
That proves these heathen, man. They don't. That's not in them to follow the law, man. The Lord never gave them, you know, the law. You know, I mean, back then you didn't have the Israelites weren't on the scene yet. You had the sons of God,
Yeah.
right? And the Lord was dealing with the lineage of Shem, right? You even from the time of Adam, you go through all the different chosen men the Lord was dealing with. The Lord always had a chosen line, always, right? You know, Noah had, you know, siblings. Abraham had siblings. Isaac, Jacob. These men all had siblings, but the Lord was only dealing with them and their lines, not the other way around. You know, I'm gonna read that, Doc, that you called out.
In Genesis 9.
Yeah,
God, that's
Genesis
the
9.
spirit I was going to it. But yeah, go ahead, Doc.
It says, I'm gonna start up real quick. It says, let me see. I'm gonna start at verse 20. It says, and Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward, right, and covered the faces of their father, and their faces were backward. So they knew better.
Yeah.
You know, it says, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be,
Cursed be him.
it says, Cursed be
Canaan, Slakia.
a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Right? So, you know, the Lord blessed Shem, right? You know, and the Lord allowed Japheth to be spread out.
Yep.
You know, but ultimately the blessing you know, going down the line through Shem, you know, goes all the way down to the Israelites.
Yep.
So Japheth got a little something, but he wasn't promised the kingdom of heaven and going all the way down his line.
Yeah. You see, all nations got blessed some shape, form, or another. Esau, Edom. That's why this man was so mad. You going into the account, man. His man was so mad. He was given a little small blessing in which he's living it out now. You know, we was going into it the other day with the video, man. You know, how they going into the people's lands with their little sheeps and stuff, you know, and proclaiming it's theirs, you know. One of the persons said, hey, if I don't take it, somebody else is going to take it. You know what I'm saying? You know, what's the blessing that he got, you know? The bountifulness of the earth, you know, just a temporary blessing, you know, the greatest parts of the earth, you know. That's what he got. And it's temporary, right? So that's why, you know, which eventually we're coming into the time where he's going to be judged for that, judged for all that bloodshed, judged for taking people's lands, not being a keeper at home. But right now, he's still able to go over to people's lands and just take that mug. You know what I'm saying? You know? You have Japheth, once again, he was blessed. All nations was blessed. You know, you even look at, you know, what Esau, Edom took from Japheth. Once again, he took his headwear, he took his armor, you know, took away, you know, how he dressed, took his name, you know, that those things of Japheth.
It really is going to the Israelites, but you know, the Lord obviously, you know, gave other nations certain lands.
Yep.
You know, but the Lord's dealing with the Israelites. You know, when it speaks about you know, the Lord receiving, you know, the elect out of these different nations, it's talking about Israelites. It ain't talking about heathen as far as salvation. You know, and you have Israelites that look like heathen, but you know, they're Israelites. You know.
Yeah. I remember I had to break that down to one of my cousins. Of course, it was when I first came into the truth, because when you get seasoned into this truth, you know, it's a waste of time, man. You realize it's a waste of time. You know, give the truth to who is meant to take heed to. Don't beat them over the head to try to get this truth. Like I saw, you know, what IYC did. Hey man, let me pass out these flyers, man. Hey man, I got this microphone so everybody's gonna hear you regardless if you lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Yep.
And the electors gonna take heed and actually come over and listen. Right? But yeah, you break down that scripture about, you know, all the nations. Matter of fact, we'll get into it. So Revelation 11 and 10, right? I believe it's 7.
Yeah,
7 and 9, Sluggy. Go ahead.
They like to go out, you know, it seems like, at least, I could be wrong, you know, only when it's nice outside.
Yeah.
You know, they might go out, you know, all seasons, in season, out of season, maybe. I'm not sure on that.
I would say from what I've been seeing, especially down here, it's not in season, out of season.
Yeah.
Or it's not continuous, right? It's not weekly. I've only seen them outside when it feels good. And ISBK, hey, good luck. Even if it feels good. I've seen them like one time. That's it.
They do always be going to the same place. I remember, it might have been like 2 years ago or something, or like last summer or something. I remember I was downtown. I was like in the same place, you know, the little waterfront area where there's a lot of activity, a lot of people down there.
Oh, okay.
But I seen like this other Israelite group. They had on like white and red, I think, but I don't know what they like camp was called. I have no idea. But there was like 2 of them. They was just walking around.
I know I seen ISBK at 4th Street. And there's reasons why we don't go over there to 4th Street, because people's going over there to party and have a good time, to eat and drink. They're not in the spirit to take heed and listen to the truth, even if some of the jakes may look like the other nations. You know, you just go, you know, go to where the spirit tells you to go. Don't be trying to be seen of men, cause a distraction. That's what these jakes be doing, man.
Yeah.
Even with the IUIC the other day, man, it's like, bro, you You doing too much.
We didn't forget what they did to us. Was that 2 years ago? They took our camp spot or tried to or something like that, and they drove past us and mean mugged us.
Yeah.
We remember that.
We remember that.
Like, what is this? This ain't no, Crips and Bloods, man. What are you doing?
Even the camp spot in which they were at the waterfront, right? It was, I wouldn't say it was quite near where we used to preach at, but it's pretty near to where we used to preach at in the waterfront, man.
Oh yeah. That one time where they was like down the street from us. I remember they was like right down there. You can hear them preaching when we preaching. They did that on purpose, man. You know, that ain't right, man. I don't know who sanctioned that. I don't know if Bishop Nate has a part in that, but that's wicked, man. You ain't supposed to be. That's like pretty much building on another man's foundation, even though y'all was down the street, but y'all wasn't that far.
Yeah.
We could hear you.
Yeah.
And they had a huge ass microphone, man, and you could hear their ass echoing down the street, man.
Yeah, that's wickedness for sure. I believe I was talking to one of the brothers in Kansas. I believe they said the same thing, that IUIC took one of their camp spots as well. That's wicked, man. That's wicked. Y'all going to be judged for that. At least y'all repent. You know what I'm saying? Because what the scriptures say, don't offend one of the Lord's little ones, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers can take offense to that. Brothers have been preaching at that spot for years, if not months, right? Months or years. And then here you are coming like you a damn gangbanger. Oh, this is my spot, man.
Like, come on, man.
This is wickedness, man. You know? And of course, we're going to take the low because it ain't, you know.
There's no point in even saying anything or entertaining it. Yeah. You just walked away.
Ain't no point of fighting you over a damn camp spot like the IUIC and ISBK were doing.
Yeah. This is my turf. No, nigga. Well, I mean, that's wicked, man.
That's wicked. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do that. We're going to take the low and, and we just going to pack it up, man. You know what I'm saying? And just, if need be, pick a different spot because that's a waste of time, man.
Wasn't there a video of, I think there was a video a couple years ago. I think it was IUIC. I think I forgot what happened, but I think were they getting arrested or something or fighting or something? I forgot.
They were fighting ISBK. I know one.
Come on, man. You giving Esau and these other nations all the ammunition to say whatever they want to say. They gonna say it regardless, but you giving them more ammunition to, come against this thing.
Yeah.
Which is gonna happen anyway. It is what it is. But why give them the ammo that they need to say whatever they're gonna say? Why?
Yeah. You even going to the Wi-Fi camp. I don't know if you was thinking about that situation where one of them got arrested.
Yeah, I seen that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the police go up to you. Yes, you do have the right of freedom of speech, man. But be spiritual, man. A lot of times, they're not going to mess with us.
They drive past us all the time.
They drive past us. They walk past us all the time. But if they do end up coming up to you like, hey, man, you probably should pack it up.
Go somewhere else. I mean, you got to stop teaching for the rest of the night. Just go somewhere else.
That's what you got to do, man.
It's not like as many people.
Yeah, just be spiritual, pack it up. Don't be trying to argue, oh, man, freedom of speech. Yeah, you got to, but you're under this man's kingdom, man. He doesn't play fair, man. He doesn't play fair.
I got that scripture of how to move, Matthew 10 and 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You see? Woo. You got to be wise as a serpent, harmless as doves. You got to think, right, Jake? And use your spiritual mind. Don't be trying to go back and forth with these people when they reject it, constantly. Don't be trying to buck up physically or, unless if they touch you. I mean, we're not saying to be no punching bag. Yeah, we're not saying that. But if they don't touch you, they just talking, or, a police officer come up to you, tell you got to move, just move, Just go somewhere else. That's all you gotta do. Cause I seen that video. I think it was in Florida. I think it was the head, Naquam, I think. He got arrested. Cause you over here, not moving. You could say, well, I was in the spirit. I mean, that wasn't in the spirit. Not listening to them. That was going off. I used to watch them before when I first came into the truth. I used to watch them, and they always be calling out a lot of people that be walking past, every person they walk past, you gotta say something to them. The Spirit's gonna bring up whoever's gonna come up and ask a question or say what they gotta say. You know, man's going to the Lord. You don't gotta point them out. You know, even these heathen, you don't gotta say nothing to them and make fun of them. We know what's gonna happen to them. And we're gonna read what the scriptures say regardless. If they got questions, we're gonna tell them how it is.
Yeah. Break it down to them. And they may even come up and be like, you know, outwardly they look like a heathen, but spiritually it might be a Jake that coming up to your camp, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So this truth might resonate with you, with them. Like we had this one Jake, I think he was from Atlanta, but he did kind of look like a Hamite. I don't know if you remember that, Jake. Remember that? It's about a couple years ago. But yeah, he kind of did look like a damn Hamite. But through the Spirit, it's like, hey, he a Jake. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if he actually took heed, because I believe he was living down here, and then he was going back to Atlanta. You know, it remains to be seen. I don't think he, you know, fully took heed. And if he didn't, hey, it ain't gonna be pretty for you, because you heard this truth and he didn't take heed to it, man.
Yep.
But I got this right here. I just looked it up in the Google, right? Wise as serpents and harmless as dove, you know, what's the biblical breakdown of it? You know, what does it mean? And it's a biblical idiom from Matthew 10 and verse 16, where Yahushua advises combining shrewd and strategic intelligence as a serpent, you see? Shrewd and strategic intelligence. Understand your surroundings, understand where you're at, understand this is the man's kingdom, maneuver wisely out here. You know, even in your day-to-day life, maneuver wisely out here, right? And it reads also about as the dove with innocent and pure and non-malice behavior as a dove, right? It means navigating dangerous situations with keen discernment while maintaining moral integrity and gentleness rather than being naive or aggressive, you see? So maneuver wisely, even in your day-to-day life, even when you're outside the camp, maneuver wisely, be keen, be spot on, man. Understand what you're doing. Like he could have been a Jake. You know what I'm saying? You know?
BG, like Griffin.
Yeah. I don't think he dunked it. Or did he? I don't know.
Which one was it? The tall one and the red?
Nah, I think the one in the black.
Oh, down there.
Down there. I could be wrong. Hey, he could be a Jake. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he got up. I don't think he dunked it, but he got up. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta be spiritual out here. You know, you might outwardly see Edomite, but through the Spirit, hey, that might be a Jake, man.
Yeah. You got a lot of, you know, I don't know if Jake paid attention to the NBA, but you got like the Lucas and the Jokic's, you know, they took over the league now, you know, and they Jakes probably, you know, more than likely they probably are, because they outshining a lot of other Jakes. You know, they doing a lot better than them. But, you know, at the same time, you know, they say it's probably because of the type of training that they do overseas versus over here in America. You know, that could be it too. But, you know, Luka I definitely think he may be a Jake for sure. You know, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning more. I know brother told me, nah, he need a little more salt.
Yeah, he could be.
But, you know, he
know.
could be. He could be.
I don't know about Jokic.
Jokic, no.
Yeah, he kind of like, he don't have no athleticism and all that stuff. He just tall.
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't really that fast either. He just know how to, you know, I don't know, just pass the ball and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it could be because of the training that they do overseas. They say it's different from over here. Like, they actually practice way more, like on the fundamentals over here. Like, I know if you play basketball when you young, when you play AAU, you play like 4 or 5 games a week and you practice one time a week. Over there, they do the opposite. They they play once a week and they practice 4 or 5 times a week. So they do things a lot different over there in the other countries, like in Europe and stuff.
Yeah, you can apply this to this truth, man. You got to get the fundamentals down first. The basics, the milk. Because even the people out here in the world are choking on the milk, man. Yeah, oh boy, it might be a Jake. It's like it was probably him in white.
Getting up.
With well, they both got black shorts over there walking right now. Could be. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to LeBron that thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we're probably gonna close it out right there. Yahweh desires an edifying lesson. Want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, the master of the apostles, the master of the elders, the great millstone, Reuben, the touch of truth, and the Bible, Shalom. And Shalom Mark on the comment board as well.
Shalom, Yahweh.
Strive for the mastery. Shalom Mark, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. All right, but that's Shalom.